Okay, y'all. I am freaking out because I finally got a freaking microphone. I'm about to scream. I'm about to scream from excitement. Where's my other one? I had another one that I had got with my last phone actually. And then as some of y'all may know, it broke. So I had to get this new phone, and like this is like the iPhone I think 15. And it essentially has the USB-C, so like it didn't work anymore, or it didn't like the lightning cable, whatever. It was just not the right one. So literally wasted my money about that for nothing, and it just took me a hot minute to get another one for this new phone. I'm literally so excited though. This is so cute. Because my audio quality has been like, we're not here for it. Anyways, before I begin this like video, I wanted to show y'all just what where I'm at. Do y'all see that? That I just wanted to acknowledge where that comes from. Because this some conspiracy stuff. It's not really, but essentially it comes from like the world of Tartaria and like just what Chicago used to be before like settlers came and like stole the land. This is like an old art structure that like to me represents stolen land. So I just wanted to come here and pay my respects because I wanted to talk about my take and theory on Adam and Eve. So like if you've watched me up until this point, or like at least go back and watch my spiritual awakening video, I had mentioned a lot of like what I'm about to say now. So it's kind of like an update to my understanding of that. And it essentially comes from my the issues that I'm experiencing with excuse me, with my mom, that gets extended to the issues that I experience not only out in the world, but like especially with the relationships that I've been in, because I feel like my experiences in relationships have very much been um a mirror, or like a the same thing. You know how people say that like you end up dating your parents somehow? Like that's exactly what my experience has been. I have found partners that like treat me exactly how my mom treats me. So to like try to heal from like an ex treating me that way, it's like difficult when I then go home to my mom and she's treating me the exact same way. It's like, and I was speaking to like some, like I was in like a FaceTime with two of my friends, and they're women, just yesterday about it, kind of venting to them about it, opening up to them about it, and they were like both kind of like on each side of it, where like one was like I totally get it, but, and the other one was like, like this is your mom, like this is your family, like clearly your mom is doing a lot for you right now, be more appreciative, this, that, and the other. And it's just like it makes me think again back to like this idea of Adam and Eve, and like before I even get started into it, given all the context that I've given you of like how I got here and why I'm updating my version or my understanding of the story, whether or not you believe in God or that God, or like if this story is true or not, at the end of the day, it is the story that is being told that a lot of people believe in. So if we just like try to interpret and conceptualize and like philosophically talk about it, like let's do that, let's get into it. As the story is told, you have creator. I'm gonna like start off with the terminology that is known, but I'm gonna like transcribe it to something that's more inclusive. So God, creator, universe, our father created man in his image, which was Adam, and then from Adam's ribs, he created Eve. So let's just like stop on that for a second. That, if you look at it at face value, you have to first ask, why is it that he created a man first? Why didn't he create a woman first? And I know that like like I'm sure there are feminist groups that will say that like because men just wanted to like be the rulers or be the first or whatever, like it don't matter, it don't matter. Why was it that it was a man first, number one? And number two, how was he able to pull a woman out of the man? Like if you really think about that, that means that that the man had femininity in him. That is what was pulled out of him. However, that was what was pulled pulled out of him and then given and created and given to Eve. However, she still came from a man. However, he still had that in him. So to me, that says that like both as people, whether you were born biologically man or woman, you have both energies in you. And let's not be mistaken that they are energies. So if we like now take this to like a scientific level, what do you mean by like an energy? Because like essentially, there's what an atom, an atom is made up of like neutrons, electrons, and protons. And like what are electrons? Electrons are literally magnetism, which is like a positive and a negative charge attracting themselves to each other and creating electrons, which then help create the foundations of what an atom is. And like that's the whole universe is like an atom, literally atom. So again, why is it called an atom? Yes, it's spelled differently, but like, why is it called an atom? So whether you believe in like the story of Genesis, the story of creation, and that God specifically or not, in science they call it atom. So that gives some weight to the fact that like, yes, a man was created first, and from him a woman was then created. So that means again that as people we have both energies in us. And so fast forward that to today, to like Demetrius having issue with his, not only his parental relationship, but his romantic relationships, his platonic friendships relationships, his the relationship that I have, with my education, with like the school system, with every single network around me. Like we're all interconnected, and I'm telling you that as a social worker, I know that to be true. Like we have our environment around us. That's like you have your micro, meso, and macro level. That's what we're taught in social work. That you know your micro is essentially like your relationship with yourself and then your immediate family. Your meso then becomes like your relationship to like your community, like your school system, like a library, etc. And then macro, which is essentially your relationship to the government, like a larger system that lots of people partake in. So if we go back to like again Adam and Eve, and sorry, to wrap up like it being related to like issues that we experience today, it is because we are all so unhealed. Because number one, we don't even acknowledge that we have the opposite energy within us. And then if you take it a step further into spirituality and like other cultures beliefs, like and like I believe Hinduism, with like Indian culture, they believe in the idea of reincarnation. So like if you believe in reincarnation, why do you keep reincarnating? It's because you're not living your, first of all, you're not healed. You're not you're not healing both energies within you so that you can be a healed, secure, healthy individual. And number two, you're not fulfilling your life's purpose. So you get trapped on this planet until you fulfill your destiny required, that like in order to leave. And even if you take it a step further into like more conspiracy spaces of like, this is like a video game that we all uploaded ourselves into. Okay, you signed a contract, you whatever it was that you agreed to come down into this planet before you were able to go back to wherever you came from. You said that you had to have learned this specific lesson in order to win this game to go back up. So you have not learned, you have not fulfilled your soul's contract in order to move on from this world. Okay, so back to Adam and Eve. How did we become unhealed? Because we sinned, right? And who sinned first? It's like if man was created first, fine, but woman sinned first. She committed the first sin. And I think that there are a lot of, fast forward back to today, there are a lot of women that don't want to acknowledge that they have that in them. They have that like that initial sin in them. And I think that like in a lot of ways women do the sin that women commit now today is that they hate men. That is the sin that you, when you as a modern day woman commit, the only sin that matters, and that is a metaphor and equates to you eating the forbidden fruit. It is to hate a man. It is to hate a man, and it is to not submit to a man. That is the sin that women, time and time again, they take a bite of that forbidden fruit and they're like, no, man don't know better, I know better, fuck that man, I'm gonna do what I want. And we go unhealed. Like our planet cannot heal without each other, without women. And so again, take it back to man. Why is it then that like that we have a patriarchy right now and that men rule the world? It is because after we committed the first sin, after, Eve committed the first sin and brought sin into the world, men that were secure, they tried to come to a woman that was insecure and say, hey, this is all the information that I have on the way that the world works. This is what like really crazy, toxic, shitty, narcissistic, abusive, etc. men are like saying out in the world, and I don't agree with them. I'm not that man. I don't want to be that man, nor do I want to see more men like that be created. How can we like, fight against this and work together? And you know what the woman told him? Fuck off. Fuck you, fuck off, I don't need you. So where do you think that left that secure man? It left him with the decision to either conform to either side. So you have secure, healthy men that like then are taken down a level and have to go like rub shoulders with those really crazy men that are ruling the world, or they have to like submit to a woman and do whatever happy wife happy life means. And it's like, yeah, like y'all might prosper, y'all might like, that might get y'all to the end of the road, y'all have like a 50, 60 year long marriage, but did you accomplish anything in the world? Did you like step outside of your own self and your own relationship and accomplish anything in the world? No, you did not, because who was leading you? A woman. And it is not that a woman cannot lead. It is just that if a woman is leading, she has to be healed with her masculine energy. She has to be leading from that place, and she has to be supported by a man that is being led by his feminine. That we're at the place in 2024 where that is and should be okay. However, what is like developing is like, toxic femininity that essentially wants to replace the patriarchy with a matriarchy. And there also we're getting to the place in terms of like spirituality conspiracy where like people are saying that women can procreate on their own, which I feel like does make sense, because like, again, like within a woman is a man. Like a woman gives life to a man, so like she has to have some ability to like procreate on her own, even if it wasn't to create more men but to only create women somehow. Like it doesn't matter. What matters is that women are trying to essentially replace the villain of the planet with themselves. Like, bro, that's not gonna work. There's a reason why men and women were both created, and we're at a time in history where like it's okay for people to be trans, for people to be queer, and like and choose whatever they feel the most comfortable with, whatever feels the most natural to them. And again, that kind of goes back to reincarnation. Like if you kind of spent more time on this planet as like one gender versus the other, it doesn't matter what you woke up in and what body you woke up in this lifetime. You know who you are truly inside. You know what feels the most natural and most comfortable. So like if you match your outside to meet the inside, that should be okay. We should all be secure and fine with that. Again though, back to this like notion of like, okay, we're trying to replace the patriarchy with the matriarchy. It's like that is toxic femininity. Then that is the complete opposite end of the spectrum. And it's like women want blood. I feel like women want revenge. It don't matter. They don't care to like actually thrive together and like and come. If the patriarchy is over here, matriarchy is over there, and they're screaming for this, women don't want to be in the middle, and neither do men, because it means, first of all, like if we're all over here in the patriarchy, women are like, I want to go over here. Like I don't care. Like they want to go all the way to the other end. A lot of women want to go to the other end of the spectrum, and it's like men don't even want to go into the middle, because first of all, releasing their power. So the idea of like releasing their power to come into the middle, and then the idea of like a woman taking them all the way even further to that end. What the hell? Do y'all hear yourselves? Do you see yourselves? And that to me is also a lot of the time what the issue is. Like I was telling my mom, like in our family alone, like every time a woman opens her mouth about a man, she is putting him down. She is putting him down, telling him that he ain't a no shit man. He's still living at home. He's X years old. That he's got anger issues. That he's this, he's that. And it's like, yeah, he's a grown ass man acting this, that, and the other. That's women's favorite thing. That you're a grown ass man acting like a child. And why is that? Women, come, ben acá. Let's talk about it. Men are like this and so unhealed because as little boys, as little children, not only from toxic men but from toxic women, they heard you're not supposed to talk like that, you're not supposed to act like that, you're not supposed to walk like that, you're not supposed to dance like that, you're not supposed to have feelings, you're not supposed to have emotions, you're not supposed to. And now we're also at this point in time where women are like, would you rather the bear or the man? It's like, you created the bear, right? You as a mom, as a sister, as a friend, as a classmate, as a cousin, as a tia, all of y'all created that bear in every single man, right? Let's say majority, because like there's always going to be exceptions. And the majority of men with toxic masculinity, it was at the hands of a woman. And then it was like, it doesn't matter the order, but like it was either supported or solidified by the touch of a man, the touch of a toxic man, because then the man comes in and beats the living day and life out of that boy, and forces him into submission. Or again, it was the other way around where he got beat the fuck up, and then a woman was right there behind that man to be like, yup, yup, yup. And then women like accountability, and then they lack accountability, and then they get into relationships with men that like don't know how to control their anger, and they're just like, I don't know why he's like this. Girl, like it's not necessarily that it's your problem to deal with, but at least you have to acknowledge the hurt and the pain that masculine has been through, and the struggle, because like you're even as a young boy, you're even taught to not cope with your pain. You're literally taught that like to like it's like you get this anger built up inside of you, and then you're told to not manage it, to not deal with it, to not find a healthy way to let it out. What do you think is going to happen? And then they grow up and become old ass men that don't know how to do nothing, and then you're sitting there reprimanding them for that because you're their partner. And it's like, at the same time, it is fair because like it's not your problem that you should have had to deal with, especially the younger a woman that you are. However, again, at the end of the day, you're reprimanding a man for like not knowing how to heal, because he was told to, like, he was essentially forced to be this way, and now everybody's yelling at him like, bro, why are you like this? Why don't you have a better handle on your emotions, and etc. And it's like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, y'all are not getting it, y'all are not thinking hard enough about it. And like, so again, going back to Adam and Eve, it's like, at the end of the day though, this also happens because, and this is why I named my YouTube channel Venus and Mars 333, because like, I spoke about that portrait at the Art Institute of, like, it was a portrait of Venus and Mars was whipping Cupid, and it was because I interpreted, and Venus was trying to stop him from beating Cupid, and I interpreted that as like him being upset that he fell in love with this woman, and now like she essentially is trying to change him, and she doesn't accept and love him for who he is. Excuse me. And he's like taking it out on her and being abusive now toward her, like, or at least towards something. He's taking it out in some way that's unhealthy, and she's trying to stop him and say, hey, like, I can like fix you, I can help you, I can etc. by changing him. And he's like, girl, shut the fuck up, like, you done did this to me, and now you want me to change? Like, it don't make any sense. Which is like an allegory, or like an analogy for the anxious avoidant attachment trap that people get into, that twin flames get into often, where it's like, because both of y'all are not secure. Which again, I'm gonna tie that back to Adam and Eve real quick. Because both of y'all are not secure, it is the masculine that tends to take that out on the feminine more, because a masculine will always take it that next level and like become abusive, whether emotionally, verbally, physically. Like, you get so angry as a masculine that your feminine kind of like brought this out in you, that you take it out on her, and that's not healthy. So it very much goes back to Adam and Eve and the original sin, because again, so we kind of like wrap that up, right? So now the next question that we have to ask is like, why why is it that Lucifer, as he's known as the devil, as Satan, I'm going to use Lucifer, why is it that Lucifer spoke to the feminine rather than the masculine? it's not, if you think about it, it's not because the masculine wouldn't have listened and like fell to his, like, his trap, or his, like, whatever you call it, like his game. The masculine most likely would have, like, also eaten the forbidden fruit from the snake's mouth. It is the fact that the feminine, it is the fact that the feminine would not have listened to the masculine. It is the fact that the feminine would not have listened to the masculine. If Adam came and said, "Hey, bit this apple, like, body with me, even though our father said not to," she would be like, "You're crazy. I'm not doing that. Absolutely not." Because, like, women have this, like, I feel like they're more. How do I say this? I don't know. Like, somebody else can explain that better to me. Why? I just think that a woman would not have listened to a man. The reason why I can't tell you right now don't matter. All that matters is that she would not have listened to him. So there's a reason why Lucifer went to the feminine and said, "Hey, eat this fruit," and then go back to the masculine and essentially make him do it too. And it is out of, I genuinely think that, like, Adam knew what he was signing up for when he bit that fruit. And I think that it came from literally a place of love. But, like, him loving Eve so much, and, like, to the point where he betrayed himself and his creator, his father. That is where that Venus and Mars traps comes from. That anxious avoidant trap comes from. It is the fact that, like, he loved her so much that he bit that fruit with her. And he knows that if the tables were turned, she would not have done that, which is why he then becomes abusive and takes it out on her. And it's like almost like creator knew that that was going to be the story as it was going to unfold, because again, Lucifer is his son also. Like, Lucifer is his son. And who do you think is his other son? Jesus Christ. And what do you think that they represent? Jesus is known to represent the sun, like the sun, the sun, and light, and goodness, and, like, positivity, and, like, everything right in the world. And so what do you think that Lucifer represents? He represents darkness, negativity, the moon, emotions, and, like, chaos, and, like, everything that's, like, wrong in the world. But creator knows that both of them are needed to exist, because after he made Adam and Eve, he then, created the earth, which was also, like, mother, which was also his equal. Like, where do you think he got the idea from Eve from? He created the earth literally. Let's literally go through the story of Genesis, because I'm pretty sure the first thing that he created was the sun, was light, which was Jesus Christ. And then